Hi, good morning everyone. Let's get started with the next topic for this training, which is on operations mode in SAP. Basically, what is an operation mode in SAP and when do we need this particular operation mode? So, let's get into the concept of operation mode. The demand of users on the SAP system vary during the course of the day. So during the daytime, what happens is that there are large number of dialog users who wants to be served with high performance by the system. Therefore, large number of dialog work processes should be available during the daytime. But during the night time, however, only small number of dialog work processes are used and more of the system can be used. Basically, we can use more background jobs to process the jobs. So in nutshell, we need more dialog work process during daytime and more background work process during night time. So how to address this problem? Basically, we want to utilize the system optimally so that the system is fully busy during its daytime, serving more of the dialog users and with the dialog work process, and at night time it should also be fully busy, that is just to make sure that the dialog work process are not idle and as there are no users, but we are using them by converting them into background job process. So how it is done, let's see. Basically, we are adjusting the instance to the load distribution. So here is an example. You can see in the instance 1 you have a dispatcher, you have 3 dialog work process and 2 background work process. In instance 2 you have 4 dialog work process and 2 background processes. Then there is another operation mode that is created, that is called the night mode, where we have instance 1 which has 2 dialog work process and 3 background work process. Same thing goes with instance 2, you have 2 dialog work process and 4 background work process. So setting up an operations mode. So basically it's a 3-step process. In the first step you create an operation mode using RZ04. Then second step you set up operation work process distribution as defined for the instance. Then you adjust the work process distribution and you define the schedule. Okay, scheduling operations mode, that is schedule for normal operation is say from 08 to 21 operation mode is day, and 21 to 0800 operation mode is night. So this is where we define 2 different operation mode, and let's see the demo. Basically we'll see these 3 transactions, how things work out in RZ04. We have created 2 operation mode and we'll change the distribution of the work process and we'll define a timetable using SM63 in accordance with the system is to be switched between the operation mode. Okay, so let's get into the system, and before that let's see this particular T code which is RZ03. Basically it will show you the control panel which allows you to monitor the instances and the operation mode and provide functions to check the status of all instances and of the operations mode, start and stop the instances, manually switch the operation mode, display the overview of the work process and switch to the alert monitor. Okay, so let's get into the system and see how it is done. So first let's see the RZ04 T code, how to use this for creation of operation mode. Okay, now we are in this system. Let's type RZ04 T code. Okay, here you can see there are operation modes which have been created. Okay, so let's assign them. Basically here you can see that this is one operation mode, another operation mode. So let's create them to see how it is created. Okay, you can see the moment I clicked on the create button, it will show this particular screen where I can key in the name of the operation mode. Say for example this is our day mode. Okay, then we have, this is our day mode and this is the description, and let's save this. Okay, now here you can see this entry that we have just created is reflected. Okay, so let's create one more mode, which is basically the night mode. Okay, now let's save this entry. Okay, here you can see the night mode is created. Now as this is created, now let's double click this and it will take you to the maintain operation mode and instances. Now we have this daytime and nighttime. So what we'll do is we'll just double click this, and here you can see this is the current distribution. So if I want, I can say for example I want to increase, say this is number 3, so let me reduce this to 2. Now you can see that this is the daytime work process. Okay, so let's save it. Then let's get into the nighttime work process distribution. Here you have 10 dialog jobs. Why we need 10? So let's reduce them. Just click on minus and okay, so this is basically, we'll just increase this number, and here you can see that the dialog process is reducing. Okay, so let's go with this number. Now here you can see that two things, we have created those modes and we have defined the work processes over here. Okay, normally how do you create them? What happens is that if you just come here, give these names, and it will give you an interface of how to create them. Say for example I will give this host name. Okay, so let me give this name okay, so this is the host name that I have given. I'll select a profile here, I'll select an instance profile here, and I will just, so this is right now is the distribution that is selected by default. Okay, if I want I can just save this. Okay, so if I just save this, okay, now this is saved. Okay, what I can do is, so this is now saved. Okay, let's close this. Alright, now let's go to this particular T code, that is SM63. Here we can maintain the operation mode, that is for a normal 24-hour operation. Let's change this. You can see that I have specified a night mode here. Basically you can click on assign and it will be assigned. So here you can see that this is the time between which you can assign day mode and night mode. Okay, so next thing is I want to show you guys the RZ03 T code as well, which we just saw in our presentation. So RZ03, here you can see that this is the CCMS control panel displaying server status and alerts. Okay, so here you can see that operation mode, which is the operation mode which is active right now. Server processes are there. So this is the active one. Okay, that's all I wanted to cover in this particular training session. Thank you for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.